What is going on today, guys? This is Justin with The Digital Life, and I wanted to do a review today of the everyday use PC that I use. It is by iBuyPower. Kind of a tongue twister there, but basically I wanted to do a review for you guys so you understand if you guys are looking for a new video editing PC or gaming PC, what is out there and what I recommend. For me personally, this is going to be the best beginner PC for someone who is looking to do video editing, 4K, gaming, and basically every other essential need. I think that when it comes to PCs and what you're getting, the processor, the RAM, and the graphics card are really what you're getting because the hard drive can come in later, things like that. But I got the iBuyPower BB980. So this is going to be I would say a very budget-friendly PC. This is under $1,500. It is going to come with a wired keyboard, a wired mouse, and I will also be showing you guys today what monitor I went with and also what speakers I went with. If you're going to be gaming or do any kind of video editing, you're going to want speakers. Otherwise, that's going to be kind of a weird experience, just kind of using the PC and not be able to see what's on the screen. I got a 32-inch HP monitor, which is 1080p. I'll get into that in a minute, guys, but for me personally, the 4K monitors, you're paying a lot for a smaller screen. I didn't really feel like that was worth it to me. When you're editing 4K content, this might sound silly, but I find it that I don't necessarily need to see it in 4K until it's actually released, and then I know it's in 4K. If I edit 4K video on a 1080p monitor, I think that's more of an aesthetically pleasing thing to do. So I went with something cheaper. I think I got it for about $180. It's an HP monitor. It's 32 inches, which is huge. It actually causes sometimes eye fatigue for me, just because if I'm looking at it, it's just such a big monitor. But the reason why I bought it is because I found that when I video edit, I really like to have my whole spreadsheet screen kind of on the monitor, and I like to have it so I can see it clearly. And I've noticed that when I edit on my 13-inch MacBook Air, that it's not as intuitive. When I'm editing, it's just not as enjoyable. It doesn't allow me to kind of play around with as much. With Premiere Pro, when I edit my videos like this one, I really like to zoom in on different footage and make sure it's really clear and concise. And when you have a bigger screen, it allows you to do that. So guys, the iBuyPower BB980, we're looking at an i7 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 Super. All of this is going to be on the more beginner side. I would say if you go for something cheaper than this for a desktop, I think it's probably going to be very similar, but I wouldn't go much cheaper if you are looking for 4K video editing and gaming. I'll also say that these are customizable. Most of these companies will say that if you customize it, you'll actually lose the warranty. So I would be very careful when doing that because it'll work, but then essentially if in a year your computer fails, they're going to go, well, did you edit your RAM? Did you put something else in here? And you say yes. Now you have yourself an issue where they're not going to cover if something fails. So I'd keep that in mind, guys. I will put the description and a link to this computer in the description if you guys want to go get it. I would recommend this for anybody who's just starting out, like I've said. So give this a shot. I don't think you'll be unhappy with that. It is going to come with a wired keyboard and wireless and a wired mouse. The wired mouse, I actually figured this out kind of in a weird way, has some extra features on the mouse that allow you to go back and forth within internet screens. It actually is a gaming mouse and gaming keyboard. So the keyboard has some extra functions that are actually kind of unique to the keyboard to make gaming more enjoyable and to kind of promote ease of use. The mouse is very comfortable. It also has a scroll wheel. The keyboard, though, is going to have multifunction buttons at the top that stand out because they're in red. So those are really neat. I am not a huge gamer. I've done a little bit of gaming on this computer, so I haven't had much experience with those, but they're there for your ease of use. So it is wired, so I'd recommend going on Logitech.com or Amazon and getting a wireless keyboard and mouse. because the Bluetooth will really come in handy, especially if you are to buy the monitor that I'm recommending, guys. It is 31.5 inches, which means it's huge. Most people would say it's a very small TV. I like it, but you also have to remember that this monitor definitely keeps eye doctors in business, just because if you are using it at a close distance, you are going to have some eye fatigue, and I have to admit that because I've had it myself, but it is massive. I will put this though, I will say this, guys, if you are looking to eventually get into 4K video editing and you want to be able to see the 4K, this is a 1080p monitor, so it won't support that. But also, if you are looking to do 4K gaming, or if you want to just do a 4K monitor, this is not 4K, so it's 1080p. This is also 60 refresh rate. So 60 hertz refresh rate. So if you're doing high-end gaming or eventually want to do that, I would maybe not buy this monitor yet, or potentially buy it and then sell it, whatever you're going to do. But this is a 1080p monitor with a 60 hertz refresh rate, which means that gaming is not going to look spectacular just because it is a monitor that is only supporting 60 hertz refresh rate. The desktop will support the gaming, but you won't be able to see it as well, and it won't look as smooth and as good on the monitor. So keep that in mind, guys. It is HP, and it is a fairly good deal. It's definitely a budget-friendly monitor. It is HDMI, so if you have an HDMI cable at home, you'll be all set. A lot of people do dual monitors, but just keep in mind, guys, if you are to do dual monitors and you were to do 120 refresh rate on one monitor, and then the other monitor be the 60 hertz refresh rate that I'm talking about, that might kind of drive you nuts, just looking at one monitor and then the other one all day, kind of switching back and forth. That might, but looking at the 31.5 inch display all day is super nice. I really like it because it has different modes on it. So there's a low blue light mode, low blue light, whatever it is. There's a night mode, there's a movie mode. So HP has customized it for your viewing experience to make sure that there are certain modes that fit better. For me, I like the low blue light in the night mode. The night mode adds kind of a cyan finish to it, color, cyan. It's like an orangey. It's the one that's similar to your night mode on your iPhone, but basically speaking, there is a button on the monitor that allows you to pick a different viewing mode. So if you're gaming late at night, if you're doing different things if you're doing a movie, if you're doing different things on the monitor that you want it to actually look better, that is what it's there for. The one thing I do want to say though, guys, is if you're someone who's maybe looking to spend a little extra money at the monitor, whatever it's going to be, I would potentially get something that's a little bit higher quality. The 1080p is nice and it was inexpensive, but it is somewhat washed out. So when you're looking at certain things like bright colors, super cool images, I do photo editing, I do things like that, you might want to consider getting a 4K monitor and putting the extra money in, because I will say that the colors can just look like it's an older monitor. I bought it for the size because, like I've said, when I do my video editing, I really like to have all of it up on the screen. Also, if you have two windows going at the same time on the monitor, it's almost as if you have two monitors going. So I really like that, guys. But keep that in mind, just because if you are someone who's really picky about what you see, which is totally fair because we're on computers all day, so why not have it your way? Think about that. So guys, the next thing I will say is I did get the Logitech Z200 2.0 multimedia speakers. So these speakers, I would say, bottom line is these are going to be get the job done in as little money as possible. They are Logitech. The bass is not great. They sound all right. Out of 10, I'd give them a 6, maybe I believe these are $30. So you can get these on Amazon. I'd plug these in if you're looking for something basic just for gaming. If you are a gamer who turns the volume way up to hear footsteps like in Call of Duty, maybe give them a shot. Best Buy has a great return policy. But overall, I would recommend them just because they were inexpensive. They don't sound like that super tinny. So think about that, guys. But once again, the Logitech Z200 multimedia speakers, it is a 2-pack. And the next thing we're going to be going over today, guys, is going to be the hard drive that I use. I do Western Digital Easy Stores. I really like the smaller hard drives just because it gives you an opportunity to have it be portable. Recently, I learned a fact that if you actually make the hard drive exFAT, something like that, I Googled it. I'll put it in the description. You can actually have it on Mac and PC, which is a game changer for me. You're probably going to laugh because I didn't know that before this. But anyways, guys, I did the 4 terabyte. It's on sale right now at Best Buy. I will put the link in the description for Best Buy and Amazon. But it is on sale. I only paid $100 for it. 4 terabytes is huge, especially if you're gaming or video editing. I'd get an external hard drive, guys. Overall, looking at the monitor, the desktop, and everything, if you are a beginner, I'd go ahead and purchase this if I were you. I think this is a great deal on a monitor, desktop, and everything put together. Logitech makes some great wireless mouses and wireless keyboards. I'd choose one of those, but keep in mind if you are gaming, potentially get one of the gamer ones that has the extra functions. I've used them a few times and it actually is kind of cool to have everything just right there. But most people are going to get an actual controller, PS4 or Xbox. For me, I was struggling for a while to find something that was good for video editing, and I was actually kind of nervous to buy this computer because it was a little bit on the cheaper side, $1,000. I know that's not super cheap, but you can get some like iMacs for like 40 grand. So for me, I went out on a limb. It's worked great otherwise. Internet, Photoshop, I can have Adobe Premiere Pro going and internet and some other programs going. There's really no lag. The really only big thing that I've seen is going to be the monitor being washed out, but it hasn't been a huge issue. There's just certain times when I'm like, oh, I wish this was a little bit clear and the colors were a little bit more vibrant. But anyways, guys, all this being said, this is Justin from The Digital Life, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Go ahead and put a comment in the description what you guys think. I hope you guys find this informative. I make these videos so you guys don't have to spend $1,000, whatever it's going to be, and then get it home and be like, shoot, why did I do this? This sucks. What I would say to you guys is I would probably hesitate a little bit on having your friend or someone build it for you unless you really know what you're doing. I've done some research, and when you build it, it sounds like it's fairly easy to do, but I also think that there's a chance of failure, and there's also, it kind of bothers me buying parts from different places because then if there's any issue, you got to return it, you got to get customer service. That just sounds like a pain. So anyways, guys, I hope you found this informative. But this is the best beginners PC, desktop, video editing, and gaming. Thanks, guys.